The Long Kiss Goodnight is a 1996 released action thriller spy film directed by Renny Harlin.
Yes. It stars Geena Davis as that action thrilling spy, but she's lost her memory. Oh no. So she's when we meet her, she's a school teacher with a family, well, a daughter and a boyfriend or fiance. She has a car crash. She's aware that she doesn't she's forgotten everything prior to apart from the previous 8 years. She was found on a beach with no memory 8 years ago, so she doesn't remember anything about her life before that. So near the start of the film, she has a car crash, hits her head, and then suddenly things start to come back to her. And she was a super spy, Jason Bourne style. so Samuel Jackson is
sniffing coke or something
yes.
This evening.
Well, it's I don't know. Getting very excited. Yeah. Samuel Jackson is a private investigator who's looking into her life for her, to try and dig up some information about her past. So just as she starts getting her memories back, they have a bit of a breakthrough where they find a previous place that she used to live, and there's a suitcase filled with some of her stuff. And then she happens to be on TV because she's some Christmas parade, and a baddie in prison sees her, goes a bit nuts and breaks out because it's that easy. So just break out of prison when you get a bit cross after you've seen something on the telly. Yeah, and then tries to kill her. So then she goes on a quest with Sam to try and find out what the hell's going on, why they're trying to kill her, what exactly is going on with her past, what happened before she lost her memory.
So we were actually going to do something else this week, and you said, let's do this one instead.
Well, yeah, the reason is...
And is there a reason?
There is a reason, because Captain Marvel is coming out. Who? Yeah. It's a Marvel film.
Okay.
And that stars Samuel L. Jackson, obviously, as Nick Fury, who's played in various other Marvel films. But it's set in the 90s, so they've de-aged him. And he's like the sidekick, basically, to Captain Marvel, who's played by Brie Larson. And she also has kind of lost her memory a bit. I haven't seen it yet because it's not out, but for various comic book style things, she's like got alien DNA and stuff and has superpowers. But yeah, she can't remember her life before that. So if you watch the trailer, it kind of looks partly like a road trip with those two and her sort of uncovering things about herself and using her powers to defeat the baddies and things like that. So I thought, that seems familiar, Samuel L. Jackson teaming up with a female lead who's lost her memory, lots of action going on. I've seen this already. It's The Long Kiss Goodnight. And obviously, is Samuel L. Jackson actually in the 90s rather than being de-aged to look like he is in the 90s? To me, he looks like he's been de-aged a bit too much because he didn't look that young in Long Kiss Goodnight. He looks very young in the Captain Marvel trailer.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just being picky. So yeah, I thought it was similar.
Right.
So that's why I just picked it. So when this goes out, I'll be at the cinema watching it. So I hope you're enjoying it, future me.
You're very excitable tonight.
Bit of Ben and Ted moment there.
You sound, like it. That's clever. Very clever this evening. But
Thanks.
Is your excitability this evening because you're really excited and love this film?
It's...
So I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And I hated it when I watched it the first time.
Wow.
And then you said, let's not do that other one we were going to do. Let's do this one. And I was like, oh,
really?
No, that means I've got to watch it again. This film is utter terrible.
What are you talking about?
I'm interested to know what it is about this film you like. Well, this film was just... It was just... Oh, my God, it was like... no.
I don't know.
Well, nothing in this film was good. Geena Davis, who's a great actor, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing in The Fly, one of the best horror films that came out of the 80s. Love that film. She's great in it.
Yep.
She's even great in Earth Girls Are Easy. But this, what was she doing? She just like paid lots of money to turn up and do it. The narration of her was terrible. That was just put me to sleep straight away.
Well, it's a shame.
Samuel L. Jackson is basically playing Jules again. The first time he comes on screen, it's like, it's just Pulp Fiction all over again. We got into trouble the other day for linking another film to Pulp Fiction. This is nothing like Pulp Fiction, but he is basically Pulp Fiction in there. And then that guy comes in to like, oh my God, when he comes in to attack her, I said, what is going on in that scene?
I think you've got to remember this is a 90s film. So.
Yeah, well, other 90s action films weren't like this.
A lot of them were.
Name one. I think there was the 2000s where they went kind of OTT.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think it's sort of two separate, sort of the Bruckheimer action movies, like The Rock and Armageddon and stuff like that, which have a certain style and they kind of take themselves a bit more serious.
Yeah.
And then you've got stuff like this.
And
well...
other ones, like this one, as ridiculous. Come on, action hero fan.
Cliffhanger?
Well, it's not that as ridiculous as this.
It's quite ridiculous.
It's not that ridiculous.
Well, I can't have the top of my head.
This one to me reminded me more like stuff that came out in the kind of early 2000s, like Shoot 'Em Up. You know, the one with.
Yeah, but that's intentionally ridiculous, though, isn't it? I mean, yes, I will agree. Like when Samuel L. Jackson gets blown through a window, 50 feet,
Well,
and then into a tree.
When that bad guy comes into her house and she's like just about remembering her memory, yeah. And then she like gets her daughter and like throws her through the window. But this guy is just blown out the side of the house with this weird shotgun thing, and then she just chucks her daughter through the. But then it cuts to like the outside underneath, and the girl just goes flying into the treehouse.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Of course it is.
It's so stupid. But not even good stupid. No,
Whatever.
bad stupid, terrible.
Good stupid.
No.
Fun. You've got...
Bored me to tears.
You've got ridiculous fireball creating grenades. Classic action movie cliche.
Yeah.
Got Samuel L. Jackson swearing every chance he gets. Bad guys chewing the scenery. Brian Cox playing Brian Cox.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you want a better version of this story, go and watch the Bourne film, because it is basically the Bourne film before the Bourne film.
Yeah.
Or after Bourne, because actually there was a Bourne from the 80s.
There was, yeah.
As well. It's not hardly new, this idea.
No.
Losing your memory and then, realising you're some crazy super spy or whatever.
I'm not saying it's original.
Or good.
I am saying it's good.
Why is it good? Why do you enjoy this so much?
Just enjoy it. It's just fun. Why do I have to have more out of it than just some fun?
No, you don't, and that's totally fine. And there's a lot of action movies out there that are ridiculous that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head now. But, this is... okay, if you take a film like a few years before this with Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Completely ridiculous. But it worked. For me, it worked, It was...
Well,
it's
again,
good
that
fun.
one's
It is over the top, but it knows it's over the top.
Well, yeah, that's
I suppose
kind of the point of it.
Maybe with this one, I couldn't quite work out if it was taking itself seriously or not taking itself seriously. Because for most of the film, like when it starts up, you kind of think, well, this feels like it's taking itself quite seriously. But then it just kind of goes, it explodes into this craziness of whatever. And you're like... serious? Not serious. But at least Last Action Hero knows it's not. It's taking the mickey out of itself. Action films at the end of the day are generally OTT, because they tend not to happen in real life.
Exactly.
So they are, for the most part, going to be over the top.
Yeah.
But then there are action films that can take them. Die Hard 3 is pretty over the top, but there's still... It's not completely nuts.
No.
If you look at Die Hard 4... which I've only seen the once, but I seem to remember like a really crazy scene with a plane.
Yeah.
Which is completely over the top.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it doesn't work. But then on the flip side of that, you look at a film like True Lies, which is also pretty nuts. That works.
Well, True Lies is directed by James Cameron, and he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Well, yeah. Yeah. But this is Renny Harlin, who used to know what he was doing.
Well, I would say that he did when he made this, and Die Hard 2. I think a lot of people slate that, but I think it's perfectly fine. Cliffhanger.
Yeah, I like Cliffhanger.
Great. I think. Yes, it's not the plot isn't the greatest, and yes, it's ridiculous in parts. But I think everyone in it just looks like having a good time. You've got Craig, what's his name? Craig Burko, who again he's mainly TV stuff these days, but he's just chewing every bit of scenery you can get and loving being the bad guy. And Samuel Jackson is just doing his Samuel Jackson thing, which is always watchable. Geena Davis. Well, we've already spoken lots about her, and she's great in it. And, I think so.
Which is not... Okay, I suppose with action films, you don't really have to, do too much where the acting is concerned. You just kind of have to turn up and have some blood put on you, and then, shoot a gun around and kick some ass. And
I don't know. It's just fun. I'm not looking for anything deep and meaningful from it, or Oscar-winning acting. Just looking for some mindless fun.
Didn't give me that. Made me fall asleep.
Excellent. Maybe you were just tired.
Well, I was, but
Okay. Well, to be honest, I did as well. But that was because it was really late.
have you
and
seen this a lot?
I hadn't watched it. I wasn't sure. I hadn't watched it for years. I remember liking it, but I hadn't watched it for a long time. I mean, I bought it on Blu-ray, and it was still sat on my shelf, sealed for several years. But then that's not the only film like that, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But no, I hadn't watched it for a long time, and But like I say, I chose it for a specific reason. The other thing we haven't mentioned, which you've got to consider, is Shane Black's script, and and you get a certain kind of film from that. So it's got lots of swearing and ridiculous stuff in it, and that and a narration, which you always have to have.
Is that the Predator bloke?
Yeah.
In case people don't know.
And most of the films are set at Christmas as well. So this could be my new Christmas movie.
We could have done this at Christmas.
We could have done. I forgot.
There's a lot more Christmas in this than there was in Heavenly Creatures.
So I'd forgotten this was set at Christmas. So
well, I'm glad that I've watched it once.
And
I've had to watch it again. Well, no, I watched it before.
Right.
I don't think I even got to the end last time. I very nearly didn't get to the end this time because I thought, because we don't do spoilers, I thought, well, I don't actually have to watch the end, but I did. So there, I did actually watch the whole film.
Well
for
done.
you.
Very gracious of you.
That's all right. No worries. Groovy.
Good.
But you have it on DVD?
Yeah, well, I had it on DVD. I've got it on Blu-ray as well.
Oh, of course you do.
Of course.
You've taken the cellophane off.
I have taken the cellophane off so I could watch it, yeah. I almost did. I was like, oh, it's so crispy and new. So, yeah, I mean, it's all right. The picture could do with a bit of work on it. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. They've dumped all the extras, which some of the DVDs have. But, yeah, again, not hard to find on DVD or Blu-ray. But if you do want some extras, then you will have to go for a DVD. But not that there's much as like some behind a few short featurettes.
That was not that scene, but there was that scene again, ridiculous when they like running down. They're in a station or a bar or something in a hotel, and they're running down like a hallway with some really bad fake CGI fire behind them, and then like
jumping out the window,
dive out the window, and
yeah.
she like pulls out a machine gun and is like shooting at the eyes. What the hell is going on in this film?
I think in most action films, the main character will probably die 10 times over at least. So, just from various
in real life, you mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I mean, Die Hard, the various
I mean, I know
explosion.
I know at
injuries,
the end, I know at the end of the day, these are basically, they are live action Tom and Jerry films, aren't they? I mean, they're just kind of going around just beating each other over the head and doing crazy things to one another. So yeah, I mean, you can't take these films seriously. I mean, even if it is trying to take itself seriously, and it's just for me, no.
The fact that Samuel L. Jackson is still breathing at the end is
pretty amazing.
He's basically indestructible. Even says, "You can't kill me."
He looked how I felt at the end of this film. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that was the Long Kiss Goodnight, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments below.
Yep, hit that subscribe button up there if you've enjoyed what you've watched, and check out some other videos over there. Come and join us on Twitter and Facebook, and tell us if you hate it as much as he did, and come back next week for another one.